Dandy escapes from marriage. Chapter 29. It rained heavily yesterday, but today it was all bright and sunny. As the saying goes, clothes make the man, and Master Zhang seemed to be on the verge of agreeing to marry his daughter to him, so Fang Qiang was very happy. He went out to buy new clothes, intending to show off his handsome appearance to the Zhang family. He grew up hearing praises, with people around always complimenting his handsome and brave demeanor, so he was always very confident. But he stumbled upon Zhang Moshen's refusal. While other girls would eagerly marry him, Zhang Moshen not only refused him outright but also rejected his marriage proposal time and time again. This not only aroused his competitive spirit but also made him even more interested. She had such integrity, such fearlessness against power. One day, he would make Zhang Moshen see all his good qualities. After buying several expensive outfits, he swaggered out of the store with a few of his followers. People on the street greeted him respectfully. As he walked through the bustling market, the crowd grew thicker. He dodged a running child but accidentally bumped into someone. Turning around, he first smelled a faint fragrance, then saw the person before him. She wore red clothes and her face was partly obscured by a white veil. Fang Qiang instinctively felt she was a beauty, so he subconsciously lowered his head. A gentle breeze blew, lifting a corner of the veil, revealing her charming face with a pair of alluring eyes. Despite her beauty, her gaze was cold as she glanced at him, making his heart skip a beat. "Miss, where are you from?" Such a beautiful woman, if she were from around here, he would definitely have heard of her. "I'm Fang Qiang, may I know the name of the lady?" No, her voice was soft, like a tender shoot in spring, contrasting with her appearance. After speaking, she turned to leave. "Miss, please wait. Can't we be friends? You bumped into me without apologizing, and now you want to be friends. I'm sorry. Please accept my apologies." Fang Qiang immediately apologized with a smile. "If apologies are enough, why would we need officials?" Fang Qiang was taken aback. "Then, what do you want me to do? I'm hungry. Please come this way." Fang Qiang immediately led her to a restaurant while constantly asking her, "Are you from out of town? What brings you here? Is there anything I can help you with?" "There's no need." Damn, she rejected him several times already. Well, at least she caught his attention now. Fang Qiang's desire to possess her grew stronger. He boldly took her to the biggest inn in town, ordered a table full of dishes, and then eagerly looked at her. "Miss, you don't need to wear the veil while eating, right?" The woman nodded. Fang Qiang stared intently as she removed her veil, and when he saw her face clearly, his eyes widened in amazement. She was stunning and unbelievably beautiful. Her expression was cold yet paired with bewitching makeup, her vermilion lips were moist, tiny grains of sand at the corners of her eyes added a lingering charm, and a plum blossom bloomed at the center of her brows, which was the finishing touch. In contrast, Zhang Moshen's beauty seemed somewhat dull. Fang Qiang quickly dismissed Zhang Moshen from his mind. With his hand covering his chest, he looked at her with infatuated eyes. "Miss, is there anything else I can do for you?" "You can be quiet," the woman said as she picked up her chopsticks. "Silent at meals, silent at rest." "Okay." Fang Qiang was extremely satisfied with the cultured beauty before him that he almost didn't have an appetite as he continuously served dishes to her, almost wanting to feed her himself. After finishing the meal, the woman put down her chopsticks and looked straight at him. "Why have you been following me? Oh, can't you feel it?" Fang Qiang pointed to his heart. "Since I saw you, it hasn't stopped pounding. I can hardly control it." "Don't control it, or you'll lose your life. Are you concerned about me?" Fang Qiang excitedly grasped her hand. "Act with decorum." The woman withdrew her hand calmly. "Please don't ruin my reputation." Yes, I was too impulsive." Fang Qiang retracted his hand and couldn't help asking again, "What about you?" "What?" I don't believe you feel nothing for me. Otherwise, why would you come to dine with me? The woman remained silent for a while, then lowered her head. I came to seek marriage. My father wants to sell me to a dyeing merchant. I refused and ran away secretly. I want to find a tall and mighty husband who can protect me for a lifetime. I am tall and mighty, Fang Qiang said immediately. The woman looked him up and down. Wherever her gaze fell, Fang Qiang felt a burn, as if his whole body was ignited. You're not mighty enough, the woman said regretfully. How am I not mighty enough? Fang Qiang became anxious, flexing his muscles. Can you carry 100 pounds of rice? Can you lift a tripod with one hand? Can you defeat 80 guards barehanded? The woman asked. I haven't tried those, but I should be able to. Fang Qiang said confidently. If you can't do these, how can I trust that you're the one I should marry? The woman shook her head. You better go back. We are not destined to be together. I'll go practice carrying rice and lifting tripods now. Wait for me to come back and marry you. You must wait for me. Fang Qiang hurried back to practice, hoping to marry the beauty as soon as possible. The woman watched them leave, then looked down at the remaining food and took a few sips of wine. She had the waiter pack everything and then, under the waiter's admiring gaze, she stood up and walked to a room on the second floor. Inside that room sat a brother and sister, both wearing a somewhat complicated expression. I have no words for Fang Qiang. Zhang Moshan didn't know what to say. And Zhang Moyang's reaction was even more intense. His features contorted as he approached, circling around the woman who was as beautiful as a fairy. Why you? Are you really Xiao Wu? As sure as can be. Lu Shu finally replied in his original voice. Zhang Moyang's gaze slowly fell on her chest. Is that also real? Is your brain eaten by dogs? Lu Shu took out the 2 apples from his chest and threw them to him. Go play with it by yourself. Lu Shu sat down at the table, propping up his legs lazily. His relaxed posture was completely different from the proper behavior they had witnessed from upstairs, even though they were the same person. Even if the other party was actually sitting across from him now, Zhang Moyang still found it difficult to digest this fact. It was like a switch, too terrifying. He recalled the morning incident and wished he could find a hole to hide in. Early in the morning, he was taken by his sister to their outer residence where they were making the preparations. In there, he saw such a charming beauty. His face turned red instantly and he stuttered to ask who she was. His sister said she was her friend. Zhang Moyang became nervous and stumbled over his words as he approached. The beauty chatted with him indifferently for a few words. Just when he was feeling pleased with himself, she suddenly stood up. Such a tall and beautiful woman, he thought at that moment. Next thing he knew, the beauty walked up to next him, looked into his eyes and patted his cheek. Just when he was completely infatuated, she finally spoke, "Wake up, haven't you recognized me yet?" "Okay, looks like everything's fine." Zhang Moyang was stunned as he found this voice to be too familiar. He looked over in horror, only to see the beauty with hands on her hips, grinning mischievously. "How about it? Did this young master enchanted you?" "You?" Zhang Moyang was furious, pounding him. "What are you doing? Give me back my beauty!" Zhang Moshan stood awkwardly aside, covering her face. Until her brother came in, she doubted whether this trick would work. Now it seemed that their feat was quite successful. The situation had progressed smoothly so far. Lu Shu asked, "Has the woman willing to marry Fang Qiang been found?" "Yeah, there's a divorcee in the neighboring town named Chen Yinglian. Her father and brothers make a living by hunting. Her husband was useless and so, she drove him away. She wants to find a strong husband." Zhang Moyang said. "That's a match made in heaven. Fang Qiang likes women who don't listen to him. All right, let's name the celestial beauty Chen Yinglian," Lu Shu said. Zhang Moyang leaned closer again, scanning his face, then turned to Zhang Moshan. Sister, your eyebrow drawing skills are excellent, why don't you try it on yourself? Zhang Moshan remained silent for a moment before asking, do you really think it's me? Who else did it? Zhang Moyang wondered, then turned to look back, almost dumbfounded, could it be you? Just a little skill I've learned. Lu Shu casually waved his right hand. Who taught you before? Zhang Moyang was very curious about his background. A man who could shoot arrows and paint faces to deceive idiots. He had never seen such a person before and couldn't help but suspect. Tell me honestly, do you have a split personality? Can one person become two? It's just a little trick. Lu Shu said nonchalantly. It was just a game he used to play before and this trick really worked every time. A few years ago, he had used this trick to retaliate against a few people who insulted him and his mother in the school. In the end, they all get enchanted by him and made all those scum talked against each other. It was really amusing. Has Kei Shen seen you like this? Zhang Moyang was very curious, was he shocked? Was he enchanted by your cross-dressing? Lu Shu's smile faded slightly. I can't let him see me like this. He had seen how those men went crazy for his cross-dressing appearance as they became unabashed with desire. It was so ugly. Although he didn't think Ah Kao would act that way, but he dared not test it. Of course, what he was more afraid of was that Ah Kao would really fall in love with his cross-dressing appearance. What are you afraid of? Even if he sees you now, he may not recognize you. Zhang Moyang said. Is the effect really that good? Lu Shu couldn't help but be proud of his skill again. My father couldn't recognize me at once before and my mother realized it faster than him, but that's because I didn't speak. It's really good. You're already good looking, and this makeup enhances it. This skill is not something ordinary people can do. I, myself, am not good at it. Zhang Moshan said. After listening, Lu Shu suddenly asked, if I do your makeup, would you pay me for it? It depends on how much you charge. 500 Wen. If it's for daily makeup, 500 Wen isn't worth it, unless it's for a special occasion, like getting married. Then, do you think I can make money by doing makeup for the bride? Zhang Moshan shook her head, you forget, you're a man. Which family would let a man do makeup for the bride? That's true. Lu Shu pondered for a while, then smiled and looked at her, would you like to learn? Why would she want to learn? No way. Zhang Moyang reacted first. My sister doesn't need to worry about food and clothing. Why learn this? To do makeup for other women? You're really something. It's not about my sister, right? She eats what your father gives her, wears what your father gives her, so marriage matters are also decided by your father. Now it's Fang Qiang, but what if there's a second or third Fang Qiang in the future? She would not have choice but to abide. Lu Shu argued confidently, but if she has a skill to rely on, she won't worry about starving to death in the future, and she'll have more confidence if she wants to leave here. After this remark, the siblings fell silent. Zhang Moyang's lips trembled for a moment, but he couldn't say anything and turned to look at his sister. After a moment, Zhang Moshan lifted her head. I'll consider it. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be doing makeup for the bride, I'm just giving an example. If you're willing to learn, we can discuss it again and find a more suitable way, Lu Shu said. All right. As it was getting late, Lu Shu carried the leftovers back to their house. Their clothes were still there, so he needed to change before he went to see Ah Kao. Unexpectedly, they met Hui Shang on the way. Hui Shang greeted the Zhang siblings and then glanced at Lu Shu. This is my sister's friend, Zhang Moyang introduced immediately, staring at Hui Shang to gauge his reaction. Greetings, benefactor, Hui Shang nodded solemnly. Sure enough, he didn't recognize him. Zhang Moyang finally felt that he wasn't the only fool here and asked with a suppressed laugh, Master, do you think this lady is beautiful? Naturally, she's beautiful, Hui Shang said. How beautiful? Zhang Moyang asked again. Beautiful enough for me to consider renouncing my vows, Hui Shang said devoutly. Would the lady give me a chance? Zhang Moyang, ... Lu Shu was already used to his flirty answers, so he patted his head and said, silly monk, always daydreaming about beautiful things. At the sound of this voice, Hui Shang looked up and rubbed his head. Is this lady the sister of Xiao Wu? The three, ... Ignore him, let's go. Lu Shu walked ahead without looking back, and the siblings followed. When he turned around, he asked, where's Hui Shang? After knowing you're really Xiao Wu, he felt heartbroken and desperate, saying he's going to do something reckless. What reckless thing? He didn't say. Lu Shu turned his head and suddenly, his steps paused. He stared at the person walking towards them from the crowd, and at the same time, the other party noticed them. Lu Shu's breath caught, he took 2 steps back silently, hiding behind Zhang Moyang. Have you seen Hui Shang? Shen Cao asked. He just passed by. Zhang Moyang pointed behind him. Shen Cao looked in that direction, his gaze quickly swept over Lu Shu, who passed by him. Lu Shu breathed a sigh of relief quietly and was about to slip away, but suddenly Shen Cao's voice sounded behind him. Wait, who is this lady? This is Ma Shen's friend. Zhang Moyang revealed a gossiping expression and excitedly asked, so, what do you think? Don't you find this sister pretty? Lu Shu cursed him in his heart, then reassured himself that Ah Cao probably wouldn't recognize him, so he looked back confidently and nodded proudly. Shen Cao finally saw his full face and said, she's beautiful. Zhang Moyang turned his head and chuckled with Zhang Moshan. Lu Shu stiffly forced a smile and was about to find an excuse to leave. Unexpectedly, Shen Cao suddenly raised his hand, his thumb touching Lu Shu's eyebrow, rubbing the plum blossom Huadian on it, and it began to blur. However, your original look is still more beautiful, Shen Cao said. Lu Shu was stunned, feeling like his heart was gently touched. Zhang Moyang was shocked. You recognized him? Wasn't it easy to recognize him? Shen Cao asked back. How was it easy? Lu Shu couldn't help but smile. Is the original look really more beautiful? Yet. Lu Shu smiled at him, then turned and ran into the alley, his red clothes fluttering. Zhang Moyang shouted, why are you running so fast? To change back. Lu Shu waved back, Ah Cao, you wait for me. Okay. End chapter. Dandy escapes from marriage. Chapter 30. Lu Shu changed back into his own clothes, removed the hairpin from his head, tied up his hair and washed his face. Then he went out to find Shen Cao, looking fresh and clean. How did you recognize me? Even my parents couldn't tell at a glance. How did you do it? Standing outside the door, Shen Cao watched as Lu Shu ran up to him, slightly tilting his head. With water droplets still on his face, he asked with a smile. It's your eyes, Shen Cao replied with a smile, turning to walk out with him. The eyes? I put a lot of effort into my eye makeup, making it as intricate and elaborate as possible to divert attention, Lu Shu said in surprise. And your height? My height is indeed a bit tall for an average woman, but it doesn't completely rule out the possibility of a tall beauty. Shen Cao silently smiled, not mentioning that the height comparison was because he had Zhang Moyang as a reference. Earlier, when Shen Cao turned back, he noticed that this woman was about the same height as Zhang Moyang. This similarity immediately reminded him of the times he had seen Xiao Wu and Zhang Moyang walking arm in arm, arousing his suspicion. He turned to confirm it again. Upon seeing those bright and clear eyes, he recognized the unique eyes he had gazed into countless times. On the way home, Lu Shu didn't hide anything and briefly recounted the day's events. Shen Cao asked, isn't that dangerous? Of course it's dangerous. Shen Cao was surprised and heard Lu Shu bragging, seeing me in women's clothing is dangerous. Not just Fang Qiang, even that monk Hui Shang was mesmerized by me. Lu Shu laughed heartily. Suddenly, he turned to Shen Cao and asked resentfully, "Why weren't you enchanted?" Initially, Lu Shu feared Shen Cao would fall for his female disguise, but when he saw that Shen Cao was unaffected, he felt a bit dejected. "You're really too hard to seduce. Tell me something." "Tell you what? How can I seduce you?" This question was so outrageous that Shen Cao couldn't help but laugh. "How would I know?" Lu Shu sighed deeply and pondered for a moment, then made up his mind, "It's okay, I have plenty of time. I'll just stick with you." "What if I fall for someone else?" Shen Cao asked curiously. Lu Shu paused for a moment, "Then you should restrain yourself and not like anyone else." Shen Cao was silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed. By the time they got home, it was just getting dark. They reheated the leftovers from the inn and had a satisfying meal. Lu Shu remarked, "Fang Qiang is really generous with women. Maybe next time I'll fleece him hard and make him buy some clothes." Shen Cao gave him a cold look. "Do you remember that you're doing this to help Zhang Moshan?" "Of course, I'm just taking advantage along the way," Lu Shu said righteously. "Then how is what you're saying any different from selling your looks? Are you saying I'm beautiful?" Lu Shu diverted the topic. All right, I won't fleece him hard. Just a little, okay?" "He's quite willing anyway," Lu Shu said innocently. Shen Cao turned his head away, not looking at him as he said, "You manage it yourself." Lu Shu laughed and went to chase the chickens into the coop. Hearing the lively laughter from a distance, he couldn't help but want to join the fun. He dragged Shen Cao towards Sister Xiang's house, only to find that those gathered were not there just to chat but to shuck corn. The yard was filled with corn brought back from the fields. About a dozen people sat under the eaves, with thick ropes hanging from the beams. They skillfully shucked the corn, removed the silk and wrapped it around the ropes. Once a whole rope was filled, the corn was hung up, creating a rather spectacular scene. "What are you doing?" Lu Shu asked curiously. "Drying corn," Sister Xiang replied. "This way it would be easier to store. Once dried, it can be used as feed for pigs and chickens. It can also feed chickens." Lu Shu suddenly coveted the corn they were handling. "Yes. You didn't plant any, did you? How about you help out a bit and once it's dried, I'll give you a few bags of corn kernels." "Great." The two of them sat down, learned how to do it and then started working. Their movements were very clumsy, making everyone laugh. Once they got the hang of it, Lu Shu finally managed to join in their conversation while continuing with the task. "Sister Xiang, hey, did you hear? That lad from the Li family wanted to take a concubine and got beaten up by his wife. He doesn't dare to bring it up again." "Lu Shu, I haven't heard about it. Tell us more." "Sister Xiang, when he got married, he promised never to take a concubine, but just 2 years later, he changed his mind. He deserved to be beaten. Lu Shu, serves him right." "Sister Xiang, besides, his family isn't wealthy. Bringing another woman home and having a bunch of kids, how would they even manage?" "Lu Shu, exactly. Sister Xiang, what is it with you men? Always eyeing other women while already having one at home, constantly thinking about taking concubines." "Lu Shu, you're wrong, sister. Not all men think like that. I, for one, don't want a concubine." "Sister Xiang, really?" "Absolutely." Lu Shu glanced at Shen Cao beside him and raised his voice deliberately, "This Xiao Wu is a real man and will only marry one person in my lifetime." "Oh, you are such a good man," Sister Xiang praised. Yes, I'm very good." Lu Shu leaned close to Shen Cao's ear and almost shouted. "Shen Cao, ... What kind of person do you want to marry?" Sister Xiang started thinking about matchmaking. She used to think that this lad was too pretty but not strong enough, so no one wanted to introduce him to any potential matches. But now everyone knew he was good at archery and could at least make a living by hunting. So, he was worth considering. I want to marry someone kind-hearted and good-looking, Lu Shu replied immediately. Sister Xiang, my cousin fits that description. Do you have any other conditions? Lu Shu, someone who doesn't cook well and is tall. Sister Xiang and the others were stunned. You actually want someone who doesn't cook well? Yes. Lu Shu proudly glanced at Shen Cao, noticing how his expression suddenly grew tense. Realizing his mistake, he quickly corrected himself. No, I mean someone who cooks very well. Whatever they cook, I will love it. That's more like it. Which man would specifically want someone who can't cook? And how tall do you want her to be? Sister Xiang asked. Taller than me. Everyone, ... I really don't know any girls who meet your criteria, Sister Xiang said, feeling heartbroken. You handsome young men are so unique, with such peculiar standards for choosing a partner. It's all right, sister. I'll find someone myself, Lu Shu said with a smile. Well, good luck. I hope there's someone out there who fits your criteria. There definitely is, absolutely. The next day, Shen Cao didn't need to go to town. Zhang Moyang's tutor had something come up and took a few days off, so Shen Cao had some free time. Since they were at home, they had to prepare lunch themselves. Shen Cao picked up a basket and prepared to go out. Lu Shu immediately followed. Where are you going? To pick some tomatoes. Right, we've been growing them for so long, but we haven't checked on them yet. When they reached the vegetable garden, they were dumbfounded. Half of the tomatoes were dried up, and the rest were very small, nothing like the big, juicy tomatoes from Aunt Zhu's garden. This one is even rotten, Lu Shu said, picking a tomato and feeling distressed. He had planted these seeds himself. Why is it like this? Shen Cao turned to check the pumpkins, which were also in poor condition. The pumpkin vines were nearly dead, and the pumpkins themselves hadn't grown properly. The carrots were no better either. After digging through a patch, they barely found a few edible ones. The cucumbers were in slightly better shape. Though a bit shriveled, but at least they were edible. At lunch, the two of them ate shredded carrots and cucumber salad, feeling a mix of emotions. They were happy to have harvested their own produce but sad about the poor yield. Did we miss a step? Lu Shu asked. Maybe. I'll ask around this afternoon. After eating, Lu Shu felt sleepy and went to his room to take a nap. Shen Cao, braving the scorching sun, and went to Aunt Zhu's house with the failed crops to ask about the reasons for their poor growth. Aunt Zhu asked, did you fertilize them, water and weed them? We watered them a bit when we planted them, but after that, we didn't water them again, and we didn't fertilize or weed them at all. That's not right. Growing crops isn't child's play, it's like raising children. Once they're born, you have to take good care of them. It's our livelihood, and every step, plowing, fertilizing, planting, watering and weeding has to be done properly. You can't just neglect them, Aunt Zhu explained. Shen Cao quickly agreed and asked, could you explain the planting process in detail? Aunt Zhu explained the details while shelling corn. Besides the previous points, she also talked about the importance of timing, weather, soil temperature, and humidity. Shen Cao realized it was a significant subject and carefully memorized everything. When he got home, he wrote it all down and then went to Sister Xiang and others to inquire further. He found that the general methods were similar, but there were some differences in the details, such as the choice of fertilizers. Some used chicken or cow manure, while others, for convenience, would just urinate in the field. The results varied accordingly. Ah cow, it's almost dark. What are you writing? Lu Shu asked, running into his room. I'm taking down notes. Growing crops involves so much. I want to organize everything, Shen Kao replied. Then I'll go cook, Lu Shu said, seeing how engrossed he was in writing. He went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. After eating, Shen Kao offered to help the villagers with shelling corn. The villagers helped each other. Yesterday, they were at Sister Xiang's house, today, they were at the bamboo weaver's house. Since he didn't have many crops, they weren't in a rush and chatted leisurely. Last night, Lu Shu had been chatting non-stop with them. Tonight, it was Shen Kao's turn. He kept asking about farming, and everyone was eager to answer. This was their area of expertise and they were more than willing to share their knowledge. After 2 busy days, the two of them set off for the town again. Lu Shu slipped into Zhang Moyang's outer residence and emerged transformed into a stunningly beautiful woman. Shen Kao watched from a distance. Although Lu Shu was undeniably beautiful, his cold demeanor was hard to get used to, especially since it contrasted sharply with his usual carefree and rebellious nature. Lu Shu went to the restaurant where Fang Qiang had invited him. It wasn't long before a servant brought Fang Qiang over. "Miss, you were hard to find. I thought I'd never see you again." Fang Qiang rushed in eagerly, wanting to hug Lu Shu but was stopped by his cold gaze. Holding back his excitement, Fang Qiang sat beside him and said affectionately, "I've missed you so much these past days. I think of you day and night, unable to eat or sleep. Have you thought of me, even for a moment? Can you carry a sack of rice now?" Lu Shu asked indifferently. Seeing that the beauty didn't respond to his feelings, Fang Qiang knew that she was just shy and smiled. "I've been training hard these days and can finally carry rice sacks and lift cauldrons." "Really?" "Absolutely." Fang Qiang rolled up his sleeves, showing bruises on his arms. "Look, these are proof of my efforts for you. If you still don't believe me, come and see, I'll carry it for you personally." "No need, I believe you." Fang Qiang was overjoyed, nervously and excitedly looking at Lu Shu. "Can I propose to you now?" Lu Shu nodded subtly. "Come tomorrow. I sneaked out today and my father will punish me when I return. You should propose quickly but don't mention we've met, or he won't agree." "Got it. I'll tell your father that I've admired you for a long time. My father values etiquette. He's already promised me to a wealthy gentleman, so if you propose yourself, you might get kicked out. It's better to have a matchmaker do it. As for the betrothal gifts, don't worry, I'll follow your advice. The betrothal gifts will definitely be better than that gentleman's. With that assurance, I feel at ease." Lu Shu put on his veil reluctantly. "Don't disappoint me. If you don't come tomorrow, I'll have to marry the gentleman the day after. It's a promise." "Wait for me." Moved by Lu Shu's sincerity, Fang Qiang asked, "Now, will you tell me your name and where I should propose?" "Chen Yinglian from Chenjia village," Lu Shu replied as he left. "I'll go back now and wait for your good news." Yinglian. ******. On the second floor, Zhang Moyang, his sister, and Shen Kao stood by the window, watching Lu Shu walk down the street. Fang Qiang chased after him, trying to get handsy. Zhang Moyang quickly pulled out a slingshot and shot at Fang Qiang's hand. "Who hit me?" Fang Qiang yelled as he turned around. The three at the window quickly ducked and hid. "Where did you get a slingshot?" Shen Kao asked quietly. "Xiao Wu gave it to me," Zhang Moyang replied. Shen Kao stared at the slingshot for a moment and then said, "Let me try." "Do you know how to use it?" Zhang Moyang handed it over, clearly doubtful. Shen Kao said nothing, pulled the slingshot and aimed at Fang Qiang. "Oh no," Lu Shu muttered, almost swearing out loud and nearly blew his cover. Luckily, Fang Qiang was still looking around and didn't notice him. Lu Shu touched his back and said in a delicate voice, "Who hit me?" "What? They even dare to hit you?" Fang Qiang was furious and ordered his servants to search around and started looking himself. "Shen Kao, .. Zhang Moyang squatted by the window, looking at him with disdain. End chapter. Dandy escapes from marriage. Chapter 31. Fang Qiang searched everywhere but couldn't find the culprit. When he returned, he found that the beauty had already disappeared. Thinking she might have gone home, he immediately took his men back to the mansion. Let's go and prepare the betrothal gifts. Shen Cao and the other two returned to the outer residence. Lu Shu had just changed his clothes with his black hair hanging down his back, and hadn't yet washed off his makeup. He turned and asked, "Where did you just go?" Zhang Moyang stopped in his tracks. Seeing Lu Shu's androgynous appearance, he looked pained as he asked, "Say, do you have any sisters?" "I have two." "Why?" Zhang Moyang's eyes lit up and he was about to speak but was blocked by Shen Cao. "Go wash your face first," Shen Cao said nonchalantly, standing in front of Zhang Moyang and speaking quietly to Lu Shu. "Okay." Lu Shu smiled at him and turned to wash his face. Zhang Moyang alternated between standing and squatting, asking the other two with a worried expression, "Don't you ever get confused by him?" "Never," Shen Cao replied. Zhang Moyang didn't believe it. "What about you, Mei Mei?" Zhang Moshan thought for a moment and said, "Gag, I want to learn this from him." "Really? Are you sure?" "Yes. If even you can be confused by him, it means his skills are excellent." "Why does that sound so weird? What are you planning to learn?" Shen Cao asked. Zhang Moshan explained Lu Shu's suggestion and after thinking for a moment, she couldn't help but ask, "Do you think it's feasible?" Shen Cao pondered for a moment and said, "It's feasible but it won't be easy. Not to mention that as an unmarried young lady appearing in public and doing small business, you might face harsh judgment from others. Even with Master Zhang's support, you might have a hard time getting through it." Zhang Moshan naturally knew this. Now that she was of age, her father had started to worry about her marriage. Before, she could use her age as an excuse but now, it was difficult to do so. Especially since no one else had come to propose in the past 6 months, her father was evidently getting anxious. She had originally planned to find a suitable husband before her father agreed to the Fang family's proposal. However, there were no eligible men in town that she liked. She finally met Cao Shen but he was already engaged. But, she glanced at Shen Cao, who kept glancing at the inner door and lowered her eyes in disappointment. Whether the engagement was real or not, it showed he had no special feelings for her. "I have to get through it no matter what," Zhang Moshan said quietly. "I used to think I could marry a promising man to get rid of Fang Qiang but, things often go contrary to one's wishes. I can't always pin my hopes on others. It's good that you understand. If that's the case, then go ahead." Shen Cao smiled slightly and looked at Zhang Moyang. "Don't worry, your brother will protect you." Being suddenly mentioned, Zhang Moyang was stunned for a moment, then patted his chest. "Right, don't worry, whoever dares to mock you will have to deal with this Zhang Moyang." "Who are you fighting against with?" Lu Shu walked out from the inner room and saw Zhang Moyang looking like he wanted to hit someone. Zhang Moyang took a few steps forward, looking aggressive. "I'm entrusting my sister to you." Lu Shu was startled. "What? You know I don't like women." "No." Zhang Moyang pulled his sister over and said solemnly, "She wants to learn from you. Have you thought it through?" Lu Shu asked Zhang Moshan. Zhang Moshan nodded. "All right then." Lu Shu sat down on the nearest chair, looking proud. "First, you need to formally acknowledge me as your master. Don't push it." Zhang Moyang snorted. "Go ahead," Shen Cao said to Zhang Moshan. "You haven't married yet and spending too much time with an unrelated man could affect your reputation." Zhang Moyang finally understood this and fell silent, staring at Lu Shu and snorting a few times. Zhang Moshan took out 10 taels of silver as a gift, handed Lu Shu a cup of tea in respect, and was about to kneel and kowtow when Lu Shu stopped her. "No need to kowtow, I don't want to shorten my life." Lu Shu took the money and smiled as he drank the tea. All right, from now on, I'm your master. I'll stay in town for the next few days and teach you everything I know. I'm curious, where did you learn all this? Zhang Moyang asked. With his hands behind his back and looking very smug, Lu Shu commanded, "Disciple, make this man shut up. Such secrets are not for outsiders to know." Zhang Moyang, look at you being so smug. *****. The next morning, everyone gathered at the inn where Shen Kao usually stayed. Zhang Moyang excitedly reported, "Fang Qian really sent a matchmaker to Chenjia village to propose. My people followed them to ensure everything went smoothly." "That guy is so easy to fool," Lu Shu remarked. This was the easiest man he'd ever dealt with. He was clearly someone who hadn't seen much of the world and lacked any resolve. "Being easy to fool is one thing, but your seductive skills are impressive too," Zhang Moyang said cheekily. "Yeah, another one who hasn't seen the world. You haven't seen the top 10 famous." Lu Shu trailed off when he caught Shen Kao's gaze and turned to Zhang Moshan, "Let's get started." Zhang Moshan had brought 2 personal maids with her to avoid suspicion of being the only woman in a room full of men. They might also be helpful during her training. Shen Kao sat by the window writing, while the other table in the room was filled with various bottles and jars. Zhang Moyang watched wide-eyed like a silly dog as Lu Shu meticulously applied and explained each step of using the cosmetics, demonstrating each step before asking, "Got it?" Zhang Moyang, ... Zhang Moyang was very curious, "I seem to understand every step, but at which point did you change your face?" Lu Shu rolled his eyes at him. Watching a man put on makeup for the first time, the 2 maids were so astonished that they forgot themselves, gasping and covering their mouths in disbelief. "Let me try," Zhang Moshan said with a light smile, practicing on one of the maids. After one attempt, she was still dissatisfied. Zhang Moyang couldn't pinpoint the problem. "We followed his steps exactly, so why is there such a big difference? First, your technique isn't good enough. Second, she has almond-shaped eyes which are different from yours. You can't just copy what I did." Lu Shu picked up a brush and asked the maid, "Do you mind if I make some adjustments?" The maid blushed at his close proximity and stammered, "And no, I don't mind." Lu Shu made a few minor adjustments, and the effect was noticeably different. Zhang Moyang clicked his tongue in amazement, "If everyone could master your skills, wouldn't the world be full of beauties?" "It seems this won't be easy." Zhang Moshan anticipated the hard work ahead but felt a sense of excitement. She wondered what level she could achieve, but if she could reach this standard, it would be very fulfilling. In the evening, Zhang Moyang received news and said, "The Fang family's proposal was successful, and the wedding is set for 5 days from now." "So soon?" Zhang Moshan was surprised. "Does Magistrate Fang allow him to be so reckless?" "Magistrate Fang is busy with other matters and has already left. Besides, marriage is a good thing. Even if he's not satisfied, he can always take more concubines later." "So, Fang Qian probably made the decision himself," Shen Kao suddenly said. Zhang Moyang cursed while Lu Shu curiously asked, "What's Magistrate Fang busy with?" "The new prefect is taking office, and he has gone to report to him. He won't be back for at least 10 days due to travel and the formalities that had to be performed. By then, Fang Qian would have already married Chen Yinglian," Zhang Moyang said gleefully. "What about the bandit problem?" Lu Shu asked, leaning on the table. Shen Kao glanced at the setting sun outside the window and said, "If all goes well, Hui Shang should have met the new prefect by now." The 3 of them remembered Hui Shang's mention of doing something reckless, and Lu Shu asked in confusion, "You sent a monk to report the bandit issue to the prefect?" "Monks have also been troubled by the bandits, which shows how severe the problem is. And since he's a monk, even if he encounters Magistrate Fang on the way, they'll just think he's traveling to beg for alms," Shen Kao explained. "What are they talking about?" Zhang Moyang quietly asked his sister. Zhang Moshan asked directly, but what if the new prefect doesn't want to deal with this issue? If he's smart, he'll know this isn't just something to handle, it needs to be done publicly so everyone in his jurisdiction knows about it. Zhang Moshan slowly nodded, I understand. No, what do you understand? What are you guys talking about? Zhang Moyang was about to go crazy. The sun was already setting, but when they returned to the village, it wasn't completely dark yet. As they passed the bamboo weaver's house, he invited them for dinner, which was unusual. At the table, the bamboo weaver hesitated several times before taking a breath as if to speak, but then closing his mouth again. After a few such attempts, Lu Shu, who was nearly driven mad by the suspense, asked, Brother, what do you want to say? Well, there's a girl. The bamboo weaver shyly lowered his head and mumbled, last time in town, while taking shelter from the rain, I met a girl who had bought one of my baskets. She asked me to help fix her roof. And then? Lu Shu's eyes lit up with interest, eagerly watching him. Then she asked if I was married. What did you say? I said I was, but my wife found someone else. And she? She said she's a widow and asked if I'd mind helping a widow repair her roof. The bamboo weaver buried his head even lower. You said you didn't mind, right? Lu Shu pressed. The bamboo weaver nodded and fell silent again. Lu Shu and Shen Cao exchanged glances and both burst out laughing. Lu Shu said cheerfully, all right, I get it. Don't worry, brother, I'll help you. The bamboo weaver raised his head, looking at him in confusion, help me with what? Lu Shu stood up and went to the kitchen, coming back with a kitchen knife, which startled the bamboo weaver, what are you going to do? Don't you want to look a bit better? Let's start by shaving off that beard, Lu Shu said, raising the knife. Bamboo weaver, ... I just wanted to share the news with you. As they walked home by moonlight, Lu Shu was laughing so hard he could hardly straighten his back. Did you see Brother Chao's expression just now? He looked so sad, clutching his beard, as if he was about to erect a monument for it. Shen Cao couldn't hold back his smile either. Are you sure shaving his beard will help? Of course. He's just shy, wishing his beard could cover his entire face and hide his features. Look at him now that he's clean-shaven. Doesn't he look more spirited and handsome? What if that girl likes his rugged look with the beard? Lu Shu's smile froze. That can't be. I'm just joking. Even if she likes beards, he can always grow it back later. It's no big deal. Shen Cao laughed. And if she happens to like his clean-shaven look, then even better. Exactly. Lu Shu quickened his pace to catch up with Shen Cao. This is what you scholars often say, a soldier will die for someone who understands him, and a woman will adorn herself for someone who loves her. Right. Who wouldn't like a good-looking face? Shen Cao walked a few more steps, then suddenly stopped, turned around, and looked down at him, and what about you? What? Lu Shu looked up, puzzled. What do you like about me? Well, what don't you like about me? Their eyes met, and a faint layer of moonlight surrounded them. The only sound around was the chirping of cicadas. After a moment, Lu Shu's lips curved into a broad smile, his eyes sparkling with laughter. Is it really that hard to answer? Yes. Shen Cao chuckled softly. It really is a difficult question. End chapter.